Oh, yeah. Good afternoon, people. Oh, how we doing? Yeah, let's wait for a few of you lovelies to come in. Hopefully we'll be good to go this afternoon. If I look a bit dusty, bear with me. I'll just plaster the ceiling. Well, I thought before I have a shower, I'll come and use my gym. Yeah, we're going to have a chat about stuff that's gone on over the weekend, this, that, the other. A group I've just joined as well on WhatsApp. Kent, it's a Kent group of Kentish people now all wanting to come together. It's amazing. We're in good times, man. This time period is getting a lot of people to wake up hugely. Oh, a bit of Dave Witcher. Hello, Jen. How are you, darling? You all right? D. Allen. All right, mate. How are you? Dave. Trevor, good. All right, smash. How are you, Trev? You keeping all right, mate? Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining. Janet, that's lovely. I like that. Very nice. Oh, a bit of Dave Witcher. Don't mind if I do, she says. Oh, yes. I'm good, thanks, Dave. That's lovely, Jan. I'm glad. Look at the state of me. I don't care, do I? I'm just in here having it large. Afternoon all. Jackie Jones, seeking the truths. All right, Mucker. How are you? Actually, did I bring me? I did. I brought my glasses over. That's better. I can see what I'm doing. Look at the state of me. I don't care, do I? I'll be having a shower in a bit. But yeah, I thought I'd pop in. No, that's on the screen. See, I've got some mark on the screen on my camera. Is that could be better. Let's turn him around like that. Go there. That's it. Been working. Yeah, plastered the kitchen ceiling today, Trev. Just plastered the kitchen ceiling. And time of year, I don't normally do stuff like this time of year. For good reason. It's taken ages for it to go off so we can put a final trail over it, but we're done. I'm home now, so I thought I'd come and have a chat with you about what stuff's going on the weekend and just stuff in general. I don't know if you guys know. See, look, here's the thing, right? You've got the mainstream media that talk about this, that, the other, and they don't talk about like what's really going on in the world. Not properly. They might touch on it and they might put what they call a spin on it. Far right thugs turn out against COVID restrictions of a weekend. Well, firstly, they're not far right thugs. They're just normal everyday people that are struggling, that don't want to go under with this thing. And I think, the outcome's far worse than the symptom. I think what's to come of all of this COVID nonsense is far worse than actually probably having the thing itself. Pre-workout protein shake. Lovely. Watch it, Ed. How you doing, mate? Lovely to see you. How's the arms, Dave? Yeah, it hurts a bit now, the old trowel, as I'm getting older. When you're squeezing into the ceiling. It took ages for the second fat coat to go off today before I could put a final trowel and get the fat on it. It was terrible. Breakdown of our common law system. Yes, Paul. Look, our common law system was never for us. It was never written for us, was it? It was written to limit the crown. That's all it was. But I mean, Paris is ablaze. And look, why is Paris ablaze? I'll tell you why. Paris is ablaze because the politicians and their mainstream media have failed to do their job. That's the only reason Paris is ablaze. If media was to depict what's actually going on in France, this probably would never have happened. It would have been dealt with a lot sooner. But when you take everything off of everyone, the only choice they've got is to fight back. The old Empire Strikes Back, eh? Yeah, they say to put the hatred in your head. Yeah, I don't have any hatred. I can see, they stopped a coach this weekend that was coming down from somewhere. Lots of people on it, and the police pulled it into a certain area and they took over the coach for 3 hours and wouldn't let anyone go. And those that failed to identify themselves, are you defined by a piece of paper first and foremost? What does a birth certificate prove? It says shall not be used for identification. That's what it says on it. Why have you got to prove all these things? Show us your papers. What's your name and address? To me, it's like Stalin's Russia or Nazi Germany. This is England, the land of the free. You shouldn't have to tell anyone who you are or where you're going. It's disgusting. Boris has gone to Gates to sort out the vaccine. Apparently, there's 50 million vaccines coming into the country tomorrow. I bet Matt Hancock's rubbing his hands together. I bet his family are going to take a substantial amount of wodge out of all this. They really want us to commit mass suicide, denial, accountability. There you go, love. Nice one, Paul. I'm glad you're paying attention. There's a lot of people paying attention now. This current time period has woken so many people up. Let me tell you. The group I'm in, man, I'm just enjoying their energy. You know, they're saying, "Oh yeah, we've had enough," or "Yeah, we've got to come together." It's phenomenal. So yeah, I am really, really enjoying the fact that lots of people are waking up right now, and we need to. Oh yeah, big time. Russell Birch, got your voice messages yesterday, son. I did give it a listen. Boris Punchbag needs another slap. Yeah, I'll be on him in a minute. Yeah, I've finished work. I've been plastering today, and I've come in the office. I'm just supping a protein shake, and when I finish here, I'll be raw mouth. Oh, did he just bib his own? He might have a parcel. I might just have to shoot. I've got my security cameras on. Let me see if he's bibbed his on. I don't really want to go out there because it's quite chilly. Let's have a quick look. See what he's got. Hang on, peeps. Just bear with me. No, they are a Stasi. They are absolutely a Stasi. They're a wicked Stasi. Hang on. I've got to go and grab a parcel. I'll be back in a sec. All right, mate. Hang on. That's it, parcel. Lovely. Got me security. It's like meet the fuckers round here. We're all security camered up, but it don't matter because Kent police just jump the gates whenever they want anyway. Linford Christie, as I called PC Kirkby the other month, about 10 weeks ago, 12 weeks ago now, he jumped my fence. I went, God, Jesus, you should be in the Olympic team, fella. Unbelievable. Janet Halliday, I thought they wanted us to commit suicide. But they put about lithium in our water to prevent suicide. So perhaps they're going to, for a pure torture instead. Well, they're torturing us now anyway. Did you see a guy went up to have his say at the weekend and be with all the others that want to get their country back? And the police have arrested him and surrounded him. And did you see him fall to the floor and start crying like a child? I've got to be honest with you. I've been in the truth movement a long time. And back in the day, people, friends and family said, "Oh, Dave, you know, you're losing the plot. You need to go and see a doctor." I said, "No, I'm not hurting nobody. I'm fine. You know, I just see things are happening." And I've watched a lot of things and seen a lot of videos of brutality, torture. But I don't think one's ever upset me as much as that, because this lad, he just went into the fetal position and started crying like a baby. And most people would say, well, you know, that's not a very manly thing to do. But fuck me, that ruined me. Oh, man, the geezer's wrapped up. Don't hit me. I'm like, oh, my God, Jesus. This is the level of fear that they put into people. Fuck, we're a country run on fear. The people are in fear. That's why they just pay their taxes. That's why they pay council tax. They can't wait. It's because it's all fear-based. Well, if you don't pay it, we're going to come and take your ass away, take your kids away, take your cars away. Surely you've got to question that relationship. If a system and the people that run it can just keep coming and taking all that off you, what's the point? Just what is the point? If you've not got control over your life and your destiny and the things that are in it that bring you comfort and joy, what's the point? Someone tell me. Is there any point? When PC Kirkby jumped my fence and this little weasel rat bailiff or whoever he is jumped the fence, I wanted to knock the granny out of him. I really did. This whole part I did, because he jumped my fence in my house, man. I'm just like, Yeah, fuck. I said to PC Kirkby, thanks for confirming that I'm a slave. And he didn't really know what to do or say. But to be honest with you, that was quite a long time ago, and it prompted me to do all my stuff. So hopefully, with the paperwork and the documents that I've served over the last 10 weeks, hopefully that shouldn't happen again. But if it does happen again, it means that it's all FUBAR, and it means that we're really, really in peril. We've got to come out of this relationship where we have people in government that think they own us. By stopping that coach and searching everybody and getting their names, if not arresting them, that's ownership. That's plantation. That's like, you're a slave and we need to know what slave you are. Oh, I can't stand that. I despise that with every fibre of my being. Without common law, we go back to dark ages. I agree. The rule of law. The rule of law, Paul, is something that I've been harping on about for such a long time. Because I studied the Constitution quite a few years ago and got quite learned on the subject. But I soon realised it wasn't for us. It does work. It does work. It does work. But time and place for everything. You know, I said to this couple when he jumped my fence, I said, you're not right. You're breaking the law. You're an outlaw. You're not here today with the law on your side, Constable, because you've used force. You've made me go hand to hock. Stand to one side, peasant, or I'm going to tase you or shoot you. Who are these fucking people? I didn't come into the world for that. To have someone lording over me or mastering over me. And the other thing that gets me is all these tags that people have to wear. They cut deals and I'll wear an ankle bracelet or a Peckham Rolex, as we call it. That's ownership. That's plantation. The people of England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, they live on a plantation. It's funny, isn't it? Well, it's not overly funny, but you know what I mean. The rules of law are not legislation. Absolutely right, Ian. Without common law, we go. Look, there's a couple of books I started off with years ago. You know, this one is called. This one's called The Royal Law by L.L. Blake. This costs you about 14 quid. I guess this is all about the Constitution, the rule of law, the royal law, where our laws come from, our ancient customs and stuff. There is a great book, Learning the Law by Granville Williams, and I did have it, but I lent it to a law student. And I've never had it back, not as though I begrudge it, and I hope it's sorted out. I might have it somewhere. I'm not too sure. But the book, have I still got it? No. People don't realise who Granville Williams was. Granville was a working class man, and he decided to learn it. It's a fantastic book. It really is. Did you hear from Toolstation in the end? Yes, I have. And funnily enough, later today, I shall be sending them another email. They did make me an offer, and I don't think the offer was good enough. And I will be sending them an email later today, because we have to get on a level with these corporations. We have to let them know that it's us, people, the souls that are the power, not them. But they have made an offer, quite substantial, but not enough, Trev. You know, I want to be able to go and help my community. I want to be able to go and help the homeless. I want to be able to go and help the food banks. So I want their donation to end up there, and I want people to be able to eat at Christmas, and I want these corporations to know that if this kind of gives them a kick in the ribs today, and they know then, more people could come and do this, they might be less inclined to treat us all like peasants. So yeah, I'm in negotiations with Toolstations as we speak. Interesting stuff about Magna Carta. Excuse me. King John was a tyrant and right. Should we have a little lesson on constitutional law, Ian? You're probably quite a learned man anyway. Let me tell you about Magna Carta. It's bullshit. The 1215 one is anyway. There's only one of them charters that really, if I was to use it and slip it into my bundle in a courtroom situation, and I want to tell you also that the law is this land is governed by constitutional law because we have a royal family and a monarchy, and that's what the common law is. But a contract, something that you sign, is stronger than constitutional law. So if you sign a driver license, if you sign an insurance document, if you sign a mortgage deed, constitutional law doesn't matter because you, with your free will, have signed on the dotted line. Okay. However, given the said facts, the 1217 Magna Carta is the one that is part of the Da Vinci Code. Okay. The 1217 Magna Carta was signed and sealed by William the Marshal, who was regent to King Henry III. And if you go to the Temple Church in London, as I have, you can go and see Sir William the Marshal buried in his sarcophagus. And I've been there, and I put both my hands over his thing, and all the hairs on my arms were reaching up and going towards the sky, and I could feel all this electricity. I was like, man, there's some sort of a ley line, or this guy's giving off some proper pheromonal energy. Now the difference is that Magna Carta 1215 was signed under duress. King John had a knife at his throat. No different from when Kent Police come round here the other week, hand a hock. No, it don't stand. There's force involved, and law can't prevail when force is involved. But William the Marshal managed to get everyone to come together in the right spirit, and they all signed and sealed and ratified, and he sealed it with the ring that he wore, William the Marshal's ring. Okay. Now, William the Marshal said the law is not what is written, but in the spirit and energy that is within it, that's placed, the spirit and faith that's placed within it. That's what William the Marshal said. It's about the faith and the spirit that's placed within a thing. And William the Marshal was a giant. He was the knight of the realm. He saved England from losing a war against the French, and he went riding off into battle without his helmet on. And his bloke that was dressing him up had to call him back to put his hat on, and he got into his 70s, which was extreme back then. And this guy was well over 6 feet tall. He was considered a giant. Most people back then didn't get much more than 4 foot. William the Marshal was huge. Spent a lot of time in France, Normandy, I do believe, but hell of a dude. So listen, the only Magna Carta that I consider to be valid, because there was 4. There was 1215, 1217, 1225 and 1297, I do believe, all really written from the Charter of Liberties. Okay. The Charter of Liberties of the 1100s was the first founding kind of document after the Book of Dom that Alfred left us in 570 something AD. That's about as far as I'll go. So we've had these things for a very long time, ladies and gentlemen, but it was completely different to your local police. John was beaten by the barons in battle. Any country defeated in battle signed things under duress. There you go. I say it, yeah. So 1217 would be the only charter that I would probably use, because the people in the system know who William the Marshal was and how great he was. And they, trust me, I felt William the Marshal's energy. That might sound a bit weird to a lot of you, but when I stood next to his effigy in his sarcophagus in the Temple Church a few years ago, I could feel the energy, the greatness coming off of that dude, let me tell you. Flame of Joseph, Melchizedek, dude, let me tell you, I think I know you are. But Melchizedek was a guy written in early scripture that they say was the first manifestation of Jesus Christ. He was a good dude, Melchizedek, proper spirited individual. Just educating some idiots. Be right back. Chemical liquor. All right, Gorge. So 1217, he signed under duress. Yeah, I wouldn't use 1215. I would use 1217. We invented common law. We're hated for it. Yes, we did. What you got to understand about all these things, the Charter of Liberties, Magna Cartas, the Bill of Rights, Petition of Rights, habeas corpus, they was all written in a thing called perpetuity, which means to the end of time. Not until some despotic government come along and try to wipe it all under the carpet. They can't do it, and they know they can't do it. And they're playing with fire, attempting to do so, as far as I'm concerned, because my dad is 72, 70, in his late 70s. I just want to put that in his late 70s. And when he went to school in Peckham, Camberwell, up near Denmark Hill as a kid, they were taught the rule of law. They were taught civil liberties. They were taught who they were. They were taught how to behave. They were taught what was right and what was wrong. He told me all about this, but we don't teach that no more in schools because it was taken off the curriculum in the 1970s. Well, God, why was it taken off the curriculum? Was it because we'd just become part of the European Union? Absolutely. The European Union has done nothing for us, really, apart from strip us of all of our rights. Sure, we've got nice BMW. Sure, we've got lovely cheeses and beautiful red wines, but we've all lost our freedoms because of it. Tell me I'm wrong. You know, you can have all your glossy flat screens and your posh cars, but when you're being dragged out of a posh car and beaten up by a copper, I'd say things have gone Pete fucking Tong. My granddad was taught how to make bombs. Who was he? Part of the RA? Don't have a go at me. Was A61 in 1217. Article 61. So what happened? So expanding on 1215, when King John, who passed away the following year in 1216, and the Pope as well, that stripped. Right. So basically, the Pope at the time, when he heard about Magna Carta 1215, they got hold of it and said, no, we're not having that. Because we was under the papacy at the time. There's been many times in this country where we've been and had the Pope ruling over us, and many times where we kicked him out and kicked him into touch, being Elizabeth I and Henry VIII. Henry VIII set up the Church of England, all right, Protestant Reformed religion, which I was born into. And he told the Pope to go fuck himself. And this is why Elizabeth I, they sent the Spanish Armada. They considered her a heretic, but luckily they missed their chance to get up the River Thames. And to be honest with you, the Spanish Armada would never have come with enough people on it to make a massive difference. I mean, the Vikings tried. They sent far more, and they had to assimilate with us. So would the Spanish have had to. But by chance, they missed their turning into the Thames. And a lot of them got shipwrecks up and around the Scottish Isles. So the Pope said, I'm not having none of this. And the only three things that the Pope left in that original 1215 was 3 articles, and one of them was Article 61. So yeah, that was happening. But then, because then the Pope died in 1217, I do believe. I know that John died in 1216, and the Pope at the time, I don't know if it was Innocent, Pope Innocent or Benedict, whoever it was, turned. And actually quite interesting when we're talking about the popes, because there was a Pope called Malachi. Malachi years ago had visions, and Malachi named every single Pope that would be in the papacy till the end of time, and he's been pretty spot on with his predictions, Pope Malachi. He said he had a vision, and he said that the papacy and that Roman Empire would completely fall. And we are under the Roman Empire. The police are Roman soldiers. You've got to understand the Romans never left us. Vikings tried to take over until Alfred the Great said no. Yeah, well, Wessex was the only county that pushed back, due really to the terrain. Nothing to do with the manpower. It was the terrain, the way they lured them in. They learnt to fight in marshes. They learnt to really kick some arse. And Alfred was exiled and went out to marshland. But Alfred actually was a great. There's never been a king called great ever since. I mean, you wouldn't fucking call Charles or Elizabeth great, would you? But Alfred was a great king. But Alfred was a very weak man, and Alfred had lots of illnesses. But the thing with Alfred is he brought this country together under God and united us as a kingdom. instead of having the country all carved up into different territories. Chemical liquor. How we doing, son? Pope says people took out Article 61. Pope Innocent dies when I think they died in the same year. But then along come William the Marshal, one of the greatest men and knights to ever live, as far as I'm concerned, and he put the spirit into 1217, and it's part of the Da Vinci Code. If you've ever seen the film Da Vinci Code, there's a part in it where Tom Hanks is with that woman and they're in this church and there's all the numbers and that floating about and the thing, and they're all putting things together. That's the Temple Church in London, built by Heraclius in 1100, and they fetched a load of Jerusalem stone over from Jerusalem, and they built the roundel. I'm trying to think what it's called, because you've got the main church, and every barrister and solicitor comes out of the Temple Church in London. They're all sworn to the bar in that place. Okay. Now, when I went up there a few years ago, this woman said to me, "It's £5, please." I said, £5 for what? She said, to come in. I went, "I'm on a pilgrimage." Her face dropped. I said, "I've come to pay my respects to the great Lord Marshal and pray to Jesus Christ." And she went, "You go and help yourself." And I did. And I said to her, "You need donations. This is one of the richest churches in the world." I said, "You do know the bar own this." She didn't know where to look. It was like I pierced her with a sword. You say Article 61 is still valid? Yeah, there was 3 articles left of 1215 that wasn't stripped out by the Pope. Yeah, Article 61 being one of them. Now, many politicians will tell you, no, that's not the case, and the CPS will tell you that's not the case. Well, push them, make them push to shove, because constitutionally, statutes have to yield. When you use constitutional law, statutes have to yield. The constitutional law. Right, so there's a book, a law book called, what is it? It's called, it'll come to me in a minute. But it says that no law, no statute can be passed and no law can legitimize it because of the constitutional restraints placed on the monarch. Halsbury's law, that's it. Halsbury's law says that constitutional law basically is top trump and no statute can override constitutional law, and it can't. So, you know, if you do want to protect yourself that way, I would 1217 for sure. I'd forget 1215 because the whole of that is in perpetuity. I would get the Bill of Rights, and I would certainly have the Queen's coronation oath, and then I would just put them in your bundles and see what happens, because they can't go against that. And if they go against it, they're committing treason. Treason still carries a death penalty in this country. When 2 laws are together, maxims override statute, something like that. No, the constitutional law overrides statute. It has to yield. A judge can issue a declaration of incompatibility. Now, when Somerset, who was a black slave bound for Africa, was hauled into a port in this country, someone see him, and they went to Parliament with a petition that affected the Liberty of the Subject Act of 1251 or 1351, the Liberties of the Subjects Act, and you can go and check these things out. So they said, we have a petition that affects the liberty of the subject. Now Somerset was bound on this ship, and he was going to be going off to America, to the plantations. And whilst he was in this country, he was freed. And the Somerset case really and truthfully started the end of slavery. And the Americans, when that ship turned up and Somerset weren't on it, they fucking freaked out. They absolutely freaked out. But they said, no, whilst that vessel is in England, it's under English law. And that's just how it is. And Somerset lived a full life, I do believe, in this country. It's a very fascinating story. It really is. Tony Blair removed the death penalty for treason when he was PM. The reason why Tony Blair removed the death penalty is because he wanted to commit treason. High treason and sedition, still, you can still die. You can still get, if you're proven to be seditious and treasonous, still carries a death penalty under constitutional law. When did constitutional law come in? Constitutional law is an evolving thing. It started with Alfred with the Book of Dome, And then in 1100, you had the Charter of Liberties. The Americans have a constitution which is written, but we, from the Declaration of Independence and stuff like that, but we have an unwritten constitution because ours is made up of many things, and especially when William and Mary came over from William of Orange from Holland to join the British Army. And when William and Mary was on the throne, they brought in the Bill of Rights of 1688-89 and the Petition of Rights 1688-89, and they still stand today. Betty Boothroyd, the Speaker of the House, a few years ago addressed Parliament and reminded them that the Bill of Rights was still in full force. And they all went, oh, yes. But they're riding roughshod over us. They are treasonous, despotic rats. And the point is this: if we continue to allow it to go on, we will suffer big time. So I'm hoping you're all geared up and ready to go. The reason why I'm very passionate about what I do, and I am passionate about the rule of law, is because it is the only thing that can be repositioned as such to sort everything out. Okay, because we've all got opinions, we've all got different lives, we've all got slightly different values, but the rule of law is very matter of fact. It tells and places limitations on the state. Now, the state, Boris Johnson's ever first address to the people of this country when he became Prime Minister, if you go and listen to it when he's in Downing Street on a beautiful summer's day, he says at 6 minutes in that England, there's a black cat in my garden. What? He says, we're a nation at the rule of law and habeas corpus. And I spat my tea out, quite frankly. I was like, what did I just hear that man say? Did he just say the rule of law? Wow. Well, the rule of law is a powerful and mighty thing. And this book was written by a guy called Tom Bingham. Tom Bingham, and pretty much the last judge that we had that was for England, I guess, for an English Parliament, was Lord Denning. Lord Denning was a law lord, and my God, he was a dude, and he was very controversial, but there's nothing wrong with that. He was a dude, and I think as a country we miss Denning greatly. But this is Tom Bingham. Explains clearly, simply, powerfully to a lay audience what the rule of law means and how important it is to everybody in modern society. Everybody should read this book. Says Shami Chakrabarti. The rule of law is a phrase much used but little explained. In this brilliant short book, Britain's former senior law lord, blimey, I'll have the COVID people around in a minute. Britain's former senior law lord and one of the most acute legal minds in our time examines the idea of what it actually means. He makes clear that this is not an arid legal doctrine, but the foundation of a fair and just society, a guarantee of responsible government and an important contributor to economic growth. Tom Bingham explains the historical origins of the rule of law, advances 8 conditions which capture in essence, and explains why the rule of law offers the best means, yes, yet devised for securing peace and cooperation. Now, I couldn't have put that any better if I tried. We just need to get back. Now, the first ever chapter is the importance of the rule of law. That's all we need to do as a people and as a country. We all need to come together, stand side by side in the spirit, in decency, in niceness, right? Just wanting a nice outcome. That's all we need to do. And I need a haircut. And what we need to do is all go side by side, stand side by side, and let the country go, we've had enough of this. We're not having this no more. You're abusing us. Now, we are a nation with constitutionalists. We're a nation under the rule of law. You're back to the rule of law. That's all we have to do is hold their feet to the fire. We don't have to kill, murder, makes us as bad as them. If we go around, start beating and bashing them up, we're as bad as them, if not worse. We don't want to do that. We need to have honour. We need to have decency. Now, when this copper come round to my house a few months ago, he stood in my lounge. I said, what the fucking hell are you doing here? I said, you make me sick. I said, stood there with all your weapons, fucking lording it over me. He said, well, you've not paid your bills. He said, there's a certain way to be in this country. I said, well, you part of the fucking master race, are you? Am I not allowed to think and feel how I want to feel anymore? Bollocks to you. Excuse my French. You didn't like me too much, but I couldn't give a fuck. They're traitors. They're spinning us up. All we are to them is just corporations, and they just think they've got the right to come and walk in our houses whenever they like. Nick our kids, nick our cars, take our family. No, I'm not having it. Not having it at all. So we need to hold them to the rule of law, people. UK Supreme Court judge slams totalitarian COVID control freaks in government. Yes, that's right. You're right. There's a lot of people speaking out there. Lord Sumption. Sumption's come out and done many things. Peter Hitchens, a great columnist and a great, just a great man. Peter Hitchens, no nonsense, kind of Ron Seal. He does exactly what it says on the tin, and he's got some massive following, and his talks and dissertations are fantastic. I really do enjoy Peter Hitchens, I have to say. So, are we just going to roll over, ladies and gentlemen, or are we actually going to take back our country? Are we going to reassert the rule of law? We don't have to change it. We don't have to do nothing. We just have to make sure that the people and the judiciary and the government and the police are equal, as depicted in this great picture. We're all equal. There's no one that can profess to be the master race in this great country. And the reason that is that picture is the reason that we was loved around the world, because we had the rule of law, we had the fairness, we had the equality. Do you think these people that come down on a coach this weekend that were held up to ransom by the police and arrested and not be able to move and go for a piss for 3 hours, do you think they enjoyed that experience? Do you think that's the rule of law, or is that a totalitarian tiptoe dictatorship? I think it's the latter. I'd love to see a lot of coppers go to prison for treason. I don't want to hurt them, by the way, or harm them in any way, because that makes me as bad as them. As much as I despise what they do, it would just make me as bad as them, and I'm not prepared to go that far. Put them in prison, teach them a lesson. We've got to start having breakthroughs, because they're rampantly taking the mickey out of us now, and it is blatantly obvious. Blatantly obvious. So, peeps, you know, the rule of law is the rule of law. I will keep harping on it till the day I die. Paris is ablaze. They've burned the Rothschilds bank out there, and they've said, you know, we're having enough. It comes to something when the people of a country come out in their hundreds of thousands and go and burn a Rothschilds bank. You would have to be an ostrich now to deny that there's problems. You'd have to be just complete nincompoop to understand that there's that times are changing, massively changing. Don't punish those for whom they know what they do changes sides. Yeah, no, you know, they need to be. We need to hold their feet to the fire. We'll give them a chance. You know, down your tools. If we go back to the rule of law and we go to Downing Street in hundreds of thousands and we say to Boris, right, Boris, stick your economy. You're just back to the rule of law and morals. You bring your constables back to the rule of law and stop them acting treasonously. And if you don't, then we'll come back in a month and then you're out and you're never going back in. It can happen. Never say never. Never ever think that you ain't powerful. Never ever think that you don't possess the power to make change. People always say, oh, what can I do? Just little old me. My word, do you know how powerful you are? Have you got any idea how powerful inside you are? And if you all just come together and focus on the rule of law and want to see it implemented and learn about it, bosh, we'd get this country back tomorrow. We'd have a bright future for our children. Man, I'm telling you, I don't know anyone that wouldn't want that. Stop having these ankle bracelets for prisons. Stop having our kids taken by social services for money. Stop them taking our cars and our kids. They're stealing from us. We got public servants that are now stealing from us. nicking our equity and laughing at us at the same time. Were they anarchists, though? Says Chemical Liquor. Who are we talking about? Thank you, Hugh. Oh, we got some private convos going on. Depends what they're into. Treasonous may destroy the investigation. My mate said he wanted to kill Theresa May. He messaged me earlier, put some tweet out. He wanted to kill Theresa May or beat her up or whatever. He got a year's prison sentence. And he's out on license at the minute. I'm like, they're just words. He hasn't caused any harm. I understand if he'd gone and beaten Theresa May up, the intent and the harm, you got a crime. But just to use words on a Twitter post, he got given a year's sentence and the judge wouldn't even let him talk in the courtroom. Fascist bastards. Fascism. My dad lives in a French village. They think the COVID numbers are higher than the government say. WTF. They also blame the cops for Paris. Mail-in votes not cutting it. We need to go as the man human body. Yeah, I agree. So anyway, peeps, I'm going to go and I'm going to go and hit me weights and stuff. Thanks as always for tuning in. We are going to make a difference. We are all waking up now and we are all becoming that all-powerful thing that we need to be. Never let anyone take anything from you. I don't care if anyone that you talk to, you know, calls you this, you that. You just stand them and look them in the face and say, I don't care what you think. I'm making a change for my country and I'm going to take back control. Just keep thinking that and it will manifest. But if you keep saying, I've got COVID and I've got all this, you're going to manifest that as well. So don't worry about it. Supposed to lift weights, not hit them. Yeah, no, the weights are on the floor. That's the bag. And I've got my multi-gym. Can you not see my stuff? My multi-gym behind me. Look. Hello. Yeah. So anyway, peeps, I'm going to go have a little bit of a workout, play some tunes, play some Kanye West. I love you all. Stay blessed, stay safe. Yeah, just stay gorgeous. All right. We do have absolutely right, Kenneth. Where we go one, we go all. Walking with God. I wonder. Our wondrous God Almighty. BWISE. I don't know what that means. UKGB and I. Fido Defensa. I don't know what that means. Good man. Listen, night everyone. Big love. Yeah. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Don't let no one grind you down. All right. Ezekiel 37:17. Absolutely right, Melchizedek. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. Didn't know I was a singer, did you? You didn't know. You didn't know. You do now. Anyway, I'm off. I'll see you soon. Take care.